George Clooney and Julia Roberts arrive by helicopter as they get to work filming their new movie Ticket to Paradise in the Whitsundays. George Clooney and Julia Roberts were in the Whitsundays on Tuesday shooting their new romantic comedy Ticket to Paradise. The Hollywood superstars were at the Hazelwood Island set in Queensland, Australia, dressed in casual summer outfits as they got to work filming scenes. George, 60, and Julia, 54, who play a divorced couple who fly to Bali for their daughter's wedding, were surrounded by crew as they shot scenes on the sand after arriving on a helicopter. The upcoming movie is set in Bali, with locations around Queensland standing in for the tropical destination. The film's crew transformed Hazelwood Island into Bali, erecting beachside huts for the staff. After arriving by helicopter, Julia and George got to work shooting, with crew members shielding them with umbrellas between takes. Staff helped the pair off the helicopter with a number of bags unloaded from the back and carried on set. Julia was dressed in a short blue dress that showed off her slim pins, and had on a pair of sunglasses. She wore her hair off her face in a loose bun and added a pair of white flip-flops to the ensemble. George, meanwhile, looked the part of a tourist, wearing a white polo shirt and gray shorts. He carried a black backpack and wore sunglasses as he traversed the sand in a pair of dark flip-flops. Ticket to Paradise began filming earlier this month on the Gold Coast and in Brisbane, and moved to the Whitsundays shortly afterwards. It was revealed back in March that George and Julia were heading to Australia to film the hotly anticipated project. The film received a $6.4 million grant from the federal government's Location Incentive Program. George and Julia will play a divorced couple who travel to Bali in a desperate bid to stop their daughter, played by Caitlin Dever, from getting married. The movie also stars Billie Lourd as Dever's best friend, who travels with her to Bali, where she decides to marry a local. The two-month project will be filmed entirely in Queensland, with the picturesque Whitsundays doubling for Bali. The production is expected to generate $47 million for the Australian economy and create more than 270 jobs. Ticket to Paradise is written and directed by Oliver Parker, who helmed the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel and Mamma Mia! Here We Go Again. Longtime friends George and Julia have starred in 3 films together: Ocean's 11, 2001, Ocean's 12, 2004, and Money Monster, 2016. George relocated to Australia last month with his human rights lawyer wife Amal and the couple's 5-year-old twins, Alexander and Ella. Despite spending their mandatory 14-day quarantine period at a sprawling NSW Southern Highlands estate rather than the usual hotel, George still complained about the conditions. "You have to stay in one place for 14 days until you're finally allowed to go out and breathe," he told WTF podcast host Mark Maron. Meanwhile, Julia also jetted into Australia last month, spending her quarantine period at a $56.9 million mansion in Sydney's Vaucluse. The property was the former rental home of Lachlan and Sarah Murdoch, the son and daughter-in-law of Australian-born media mogul Rupert Murdoch. The home was patrolled by around-the-clock armed guards, while multiple chefs, waiters and housekeepers stayed with Julia as part of her travel bubble. The property was the former rental home of Lachlan and Sarah Murdoch, the son and daughter-in-law of Australian-born media mogul Rupert Murdoch. The home was patrolled by around-the-clock armed guards, while multiple chefs, waiters and housekeepers stayed with Julia as part of her travel bubble.